Having provided a very basic introduction to SAP and especially the logistics related modules in SAP in a previous video, I wanted to talk about the production planning and control process as it is supported from an SAP perspective. And this is with regards to the SAP PP module. And as you can see, I put this documentation on my blog, and you can also find a link to this presentation in the video description if you want to access these slides for free. So in the PP module of SAP, the production planning and controls process is mainly divided into 4 steps. The first step, or one of the steps, is the sales and operations planning. Another step is the material requirements planning. Then again, another step is the capacity requirements planning, and then there's also production execution and control. Those are the 4 major areas of production planning and control from a process point of view when talking about SAP PP. Sales planning aims at forming some qualified expectation of future sales orders. So forecasting is a very central aspect of sales planning, and usually forecasting is some form of extrapolation of historic sales. The main goal of sales planning is to make sure that future customer demand is satisfied. So this step seeks to create a clear overview of what the market will demand, and there might be some alignment with available capacity and available stock levels. However, available stock and also available production capacity is only considered from a very strategic and general level. So this is nothing that goes into the short-term planning, and it's more a very strategic consideration of availability of capacity and stock. The most important aspect of this step is to get a clear overview of future market need that needs to be satisfied. Then the second step is material requirements planning, and this takes basically the sales orders and also the forecasted sales orders and translates them into a real requirement. So here, requirement refers to the requirement of finished product that maps to the sales orders that are forecasted, but also the requirement for all the assembly components and eventually also the raw material that is required to produce that finished product. And this step does take into account the, for example, lead times. It takes into account lot sizes and scrap rates, and aims at quantifying how much of which product and what material needs to be produced, so available at what point in time. There's no check or verification against available capacity in production, and also there's no check against availability of capacity in the external supply chain. But there is a clear overview after this step over how much quantity of what kinds of products and materials need to be available at what point in time. And taking that information, one can then conduct capacity requirements planning, which eventually is a step where the requirement needs to be aligned with the available capacity. So this might include smoothing of production orders that have been generated during material requirements planning due to limited capacity, and eventually this is a step that aims at creating a production schedule that can be handed over to production, and that specifies what kind of order must be executed on what work center at what time. And there's also this area of production execution and control, which mainly defines how execution of scheduled production orders is then controlled. And this is associated to a lot of booking processes. So this might involve the booking of material withdrawal, or the logging of order confirmations, the booking of storage, or also the booking of, for example, invoices. So the invoicing related booking processes is something that is mapped to this area of production execution and control.